When Vlad accidentally gets involved in an alien conflict after attempting to steal a trophy at camp, things go haywire as he, a girl, an eccentric and a transformer robot join forces to save the world from a looming catastrophe. The movie opens with an unknown narrator retelling the beginning of time, explaining how billions of years ago, life was born, and quite some time later, humans came to be, conquering Earth as their own. However, humans are seemingly unaware of how they're just pawns in someone else's game. Pretty ominous, right? Anyway, we then cut to two men who seem to be pleading for their lives to a humanoid stranger in a mask, annoyed at their uselessness, but granting them what appears to be some form of batteries. She walks away from the scene as the men almost hungrily grasp at the batteries. Now we meet Vlad and his group of friends who are at camp, challenging each other to do fun dares, though Vlad struggles to get involved with the group. He avoids the challenges as the others essentially call him a chicken and proceed with their activities without him. One night, the boys spot an unusual amount of smoke and fire from afar, with one of the kids retelling a camp rumor about a man who keeps tying himself to an electrical transformer in hopes of getting electrocuted and gaining endless power. Before they can continue delving into the story, their phones glitch and they decide it's time to return to camp. The following day at a volleyball tournament against a rival camp, Vlad participates by taking pictures of the game, the athletes, and the cheerleaders, proving himself useful as he captures the moment. After a misunderstanding during the game, Vlad interferes and explains that he has a video of the moment, hoping to clear the air between the opposing teams. He adds that his camp's team scored the point and has the evidence to show it. The referee, confused about his sudden appearance, only says that if he doesn't show it right away, he'll concede the point to the rival team. Anxious about the relevance of his task, Vlad trips on his feet as his camera drops to the ground and collapses, along with the footage proving his statement right. As a result, the referee, true to his word, grants the victory to the other team as Vlad is dejected, guilty, and ostracized, even more so, by others in the camp, now blaming him for his team's loss. Friendless and with no one to rely on, Vlad is frustrated over his awkwardness and clumsiness, realizing he could have been hailed a hero, instead of a loser, like he is now. However, Sancho, another one of the kids at camp, keeps him company, aware of the accident and hoping to cheer him up. Eventually, Vlad decides he wants to leave camp, but Sancho convinces him otherwise, as our protagonist suddenly decides to steal the trophy from their rival's team, claiming their well-deserved victory for his own. The two then prep everything to steal the trophy from the other camp. Sancho joins Vlad without his permission, annoyed that he interrupted his actual plan, leave the camp. Now with Sancho on his tail, Vlad then realizes he has to go through with the plan, stealthily walking towards the other coach's cabin as he builds up the courage to steal the cup. Despite his attempts going unnoticed, the coach eventually spots Vlad grabbing the trophy, ultimately leading to a chase between the two. However, Vlad accidentally strays a little too far from camp and finds a drawing of an electrical transformer box, one that has come to life and is currently dragging him through what seems to be the middle of nowhere. Meanwhile, Sancho gets caught by the other coach and is drilled with questions, both about the cup and Vlad's whereabouts. Unable to answer either line of questioning, both coaches from the opposing camps decide to call the cops, getting more and more concerned about Vlad's current status. A policeman eventually arrives, but he displays worrisome behavior, paying more attention to the trophy than the missing kid. This immediately concerns both coaches as they decide to take matters into their own hands and find Vlad themselves. Back to Vlad, the robot has led him to a friendly scientist, who explains the importance of energy both for robots and humans alike. The scientist takes Vlad into some kind of lair where he keeps an almost obsessive layout of robots, energy, and how Bobots keep humans safe from harm. However, this particular Bobot, the one that led Vlad to the scientist, is on a mission to find Vlad, who is the chosen one, the boy from the prophecy who will save the world from the trashmen. To make matters worse, they only have 2 days to save the world and humanity from the trashmen. Cool. A girl then mysteriously arrives at Vlad and the scientist's camp, collapsing as soon as she gets there, injuring her leg in the process. Hoping to save the world as soon as possible, the scientist tells Vlad to move on with their mission, but he refuses, telling him that they can't leave the girl alone. According to the scientist, however, she's one of the trashmen and has to leave without her. Nevertheless, Vlad insists and gets his way, taking the mysterious girl along on their journey. As this is happening, the coach from the rival camp makes note that he has a friend, Stefan, nearby that might be able to help them. Coincidentally, that's exactly where the scientist is taking Vlad and the girl, as their rescue seems to need help with her leg. Without hesitation, Stefan agrees to help the crew. While Stefan patches the girl's leg up, he and Vlad get to talking, explaining how aliens have roamed Earth and how he ended up in a mental institution for believing that. A little extreme, but okay. The group doesn't get to relax for too long before the police come barging into the trailer, searching for Stefan. Luckily for him, he hides just in time and the scientist can lead the cop away. For now. Meanwhile, Stefan and the scientist attempt to piece the supposed prophecy together but fail to do so time and time again. Out of nowhere, a blast occurs, destroying the trailer and making both the scientist and Stefan collapse from the impact. Immediately after the explosion, two humanoid men, who don't seem to be human at all, enter the trailer, questioning Vlad about Bobot, but he is unable to answer. Just before the trash man was about to kill Vlad, a cop stops him, telling him that the boy is his. The girl interferes with this information, telling him that he is only going to steal him, just like he did with her. The cop then leads Vlad to his car and drives away from the scene, leaving the scientist, Stefan, and the girl behind. However, they don't get to drive for too long before an object flies out of nowhere and impales the car. We then cut to Bobot and the trash man, who seem to have located him, shooting him with what seems to be taser guns and paralyzing him, hoping to finally rid the world of energy and electricity. The two coaches then arrive at Stefan's now destroyed trailer just as the scientist wakes up, leaving the scene behind as he desperately hopes to find Vlad and Bobot in time. The coach nurse Stefan back to health, who wakes up in a severe state of confusion but is quick to recover, telling them that they must find and help the scientist and the boy. At this, they waste no time and join forces, quickly going on the hunt for Vlad and the scientist. Vlad wakes up soon after this, and finds bits and pieces of Bobot. Thankfully though, the scientist doesn't have to walk too far before he finds Vlad, who dejectedly informs him that with Bobot gone, there's no point in trying to save humanity anymore. Vlad refuses to give up though, telling him that there must be something that they can do. At Vlad's unexpected enthusiasm, the scientist regains hope and tells him that they might be able to piece Bobot's energy back together, they just need to look through garbage trucks to find it. The scientist collapses and Vlad realizes that if they want to save humanity in time, he has to leave him behind to do so. Fortunately for the scientist though, Stefan and the coaches find him soon enough. Now we're on to the next mission, finding Bobot and Vlad. Again. Later on, Vlad sneaks into one of the trashman's garbage trucks, hoping to find the energy to piece Bobot back together. After going through some terrifying obstacles, Vlad can make it, just as the trashman piece the prophecy back together, realizing the potential Vlad truly has, and the danger he possesses towards their mission. Not long after, he gets caught by one of the trashmen, and the two fight, though it is clear that lethal, human killer robots overpower the 12-year-old Vlad. As this is happening, the girl Vlad wanted to help manages to figure out his location, setting out to help him against the dangerous trashman. Just when Vlad's fight seems to be lost, a group of birds arrive at the scene and viciously attack the alien robots, finally getting them off of the kid. Vlad quickly runs to stop the other trashman, but the bridge holding him collapses, leading him to almost fall atop a pool of lava. Before he potentially meets his demise, the girl saves him and leads him away from the trashmen, building a truck out of garbage. The girl then explains that the trashmen are aware that he's part of the prophecy and will stop at nothing until they find and kill him, not wanting anyone to risk their mission of ending humanity. She adds that he brings light and energy, making him undoubtedly the chosen one. He just needs Bobot now to save the world. Both Vlad and the girl share a brief moment as she thanks him for being the first person to ever treat her like an actual human. We then cut to the coaches, Stefan, and the scientist, who are still attempting to find Vlad and Bobot, unaware that their mission is almost complete. They get chased by countless, seemingly vicious trucks, who seem to be aware of what they're trying to do. Vlad and the girl eventually find Bobot's remains as she instructs him to bring him back to life, and with no effort, the final piece to their puzzle comes back to life almost instantly. However, this isn't the end of the story, as there are still countless trashmen who are still on the hunt for Vlad. Just before things get worse for Stefan, the scientist, and the coaches, the group can find Vlad and the girl. They eventually manage to restore all the fallen Bobots, giving him all the energy and electricity he might have needed to save humanity. Bobot and Vlad approach some electricity posts just as Bobot prepares to do what he was made to do, giving his goodbyes to Vlad and the group, as he instructs them to go back to their previous life. Vlad originally refuses until Bobot finally tells him that everything else depends on him, giving Vlad a new sense of determination. Just before Bobot leaves, he transforms into a humanoid version of electricity, sharing a moment, or a spark, with Vlad before he disappears. Our main character then proceeds to head to the city's main source of electricity, activating the power source to save Earth from the sun's explosion. He returns safely to his group and camp, accepted and content with his successful mission. And just like that, the world has been saved. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to help the channel out. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.